Welcome everyone to today's SFAI Memory Collection talk. My name is Maria Teresa Barbist. I'm one of the co-founders of SFAA, and I'm really excited to be joined today by Becky Alexander from the SFAI Legacy Foundation Archive, who is our partner in building this memory collection. If you saw it on our website, we don't we collaborate on the talks, on the memory collection talks, but we also have a portal for you to submit any photos, videos, or written text that you would like to kind of have archived in this collection, and it automatically goes also to the Legacy Foundation. So check that out on our website later on. Becky, of course, I don't need to introduce, but I'm going to quickly introduce our speakers today. I'm going to start with our oldest alum, graduation year, Eleni Exarchou from
Yeah,
Athens. Calling in from Athens, graduated in 1986 with a BFA in painting, I believe, right?
yeah,
Painting.
yes.
Then we
That
have
was my
Lior.
major.
That was your major, right? Lior Bar graduated in 2008. And I don't remember your major, Lior. Was that already technology, like art and
Yeah,
technology?
the design and technology.
Design and technology, yeah. And
Yeah.
then we have Cléa Massiani, who graduated in the same year as I did in 2014, right? And you did an MA, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
That
MA in
was
Exhibition and Museum Studies.
Exhibition and Museum Studies.
Mhm.
And then right the year after, so Santiago kind of went to school with us like a little bit. Santiago graduated in 2015. Your major was sculpture, right,
Yeah,
Santiago? Yeah.
right.
And then we have Rosa, who didn't have a major anymore because you were kind of studio arts. They didn't do like the majors anymore. And Rosa graduated in 2023. And you might think, not possible. Well, you're right. Rosa had to switch to CalArts and she graduated from CalArts in 2023. So you didn't really, well, you had a lot of turbulence, but you graduated on time, like you were meant to graduate from SFAI.
Yeah,
Wonderful. And all yeah, you didn't have a major, but you did a lot in sculpture as well, right?
studio arts.
Studio
Yeah,
arts. You were studio arts, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So thanks so much to all of you for joining us today. I really appreciate that we have like such a bandwidth of like, so many years that we cover at SFAI. And of course, Becky knows all the history. So I'm going to hand it over to Becky now to ask the questions. And we're going to share a couple of images later on when we talk about special projects. Thanks, Becky.
Yeah, thanks so much, Maria. I'm really happy to be hosting this from here at the SFA Archives. One thing I've realized digging into more of the long history of SFAI is just how the extent to which it really was a place where people were coming from other countries to study from the very beginning. Like some of the earliest students were students from Japan who came like right after Japan opened up after its like isolationist period. There were really early Japanese students studying here, and then over the course of the school's history, there were students from a lot of different countries and like clusters of countries, a whole crew of Icelandic students at one point. So it feels like a really important part of the school's history, and especially now at this moment when the United States is treating people from other countries so horrendously. It's a nice moment to remember how much richness is really added by people coming in and bringing other perspectives and other cultures to this country and to the school. And I think so. This is the first of, we're going to do a few more of these. I know Linda Connor's working on organize something with some of the Asian students. So we have to keep in mind time zones and figure out a time that works for everybody on a panel. So there'll be more to come, but it's really exciting to start with this group of folks. And what I wanted to start with is just to go around the circle and have you all just say how you got to SFAI. I've met so many people in San Francisco who's never heard of this school. So I'm interested to hear how, coming from where you came, you knew of the school, heard of the school. How much did you know about the school? What did you expect? Had you been to the US or to San Francisco beforehand? So just a little bit of introduction of how you got to SFAI from where you were before. And if anyone wants to start, or we can just, Eleni, you want to start it off again?
Okay. Hello, my name is Eleni Exarchou, and I'm in Athens, Greece. Well, back then, no iPhones, no internet, no nothing like that. So I was really, struggling. I wanted to be always, in art, and there was only one art school here, like the public at the university, the art school. And I started, started drawing and all that. And it's a really tough thing to get into the school here, because you have to draw inch by inch all the ancient sculptures that we have here, and you have to make them exactly the way they are. So I was not good at that. I never made it. I went to in another school, and then I started looking of where can I go. My cousin was in California, and I applied to certain schools in New York, in Pratt, and in other schools. And then she said, "Why don't you come here? I'll send you a catalog to see." She had already graduated before me, like 3 years before I came there. And she sent me, and I got that catalog of 1983 in Greece. And I loved it. I really liked, it was something really totally different from what I was seeing here, in galleries, in the museums and everything. And it was really, I wanted to get out of the structured, art thing here. It was really so classical. And so, and the school here was really from the Munich school, really, So anyway, that's how I learned about when I arrived in San Francisco. I loved it. She took me to CCAC one jet-lagged morning. I was really sick. And then at the Art Institute, it was August, and no one was there except Annie Reiniger. It was really warm. It was, the minute I walked in the school, I just felt that this is what I was looking for. It was like someone really warmly hugged me and said, "Here's where you have to be." And then I registered with Annie, and that was it. That was it. I decided immediately where I want to go.
There we go. Look familiar?
A lot familiar. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, and of course, I know Jeff since I went to school. I was going in the library really often. Maybe, he doesn't remember me when I was there, but the library was a really an amazing place to go. Yeah.
All right.
The shelter.
Thank you. On to Santiago, maybe?
Sure, definitely. So, actually, I wanted to study in San Francisco without knowing that the institute was there. Because a few years before, I had been visiting the US, and I went through San Francisco, and I remember I ended up in a punk concert, and I just really loved the architecture and the weather and the city itself. Like, the aesthetic of the city. So years later, I did a tour in the US, going through LA, San Francisco, Chicago, New York, visiting different art schools. But I do remember that when I went to SFAI, I talked with Nicole Crescenzi, and she did a tour of the school. And even though I applied to all these schools, I was really from the beginning on pushing for it to be SFAI because I really like the vibe of the city. I really like the vibe of Nicole, but also the campus. I was just mesmerized with the beauty of the city and this architecture.
How about you, Rosa?
When I did my degree in Düsseldorf at the art school, there was a teacher, Stefan Kürten, who I think had studied at SFA in the 90s. And he told me the story how he bought Kathy Ecker's motorcycle, which was a really great story. And then I was living in Lisbon. And yeah, and then I applied and kind of made sense because it was also another hilly city with a very big red bridge. But yeah, I think the first time I heard about the Art Institute was from Stefan with this Kathy Ecker story. Yeah.
That's a good story. We have pictures of Kathy on her motorcycle.
Lior?
Similar to Santiago, I also visited the city before I knew about the school around 2000, and I fell in love with the city, about everything about it, the aesthetics, the atmosphere, the place being so liberal and diverse. And then in 2015, I was studying in Israel, in Jerusalem, in a design school. Just doing it was called Visual Communication Studies, and we had the opportunity to do students exchange. And one of the options was in San Francisco, SFAI, and I didn't check the school. I didn't really care. I just wanted to be a semester in San Francisco. So I applied and I got in. But when I arrived, it was really an amazing experience. Obviously, the beautiful campus, but also as I started studying, my previous studies were like my home school. It was very design oriented, including very methodological. The word won't come out, but typography and data, information architecture, and kind of like a lot of practical aspects. And at SFAI, it was just, it was art and conceptual art. And I just try to take as many classes as I can in that areas and away from what I studied at home school. And then I decided I wanted to continue study there. And after that exchange semester, I transferred from my home school to SFAI.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. How about you, Cléa?
I was doing a master's in Paris in history at the time. And I realized that everyone was asking, but what are you going to do with, I was doing a master in history at this point. It's like, what are you going to do? You want to teach? I was like, no, I don't want to teach. I want to work in museums. And so I was looking at programs in exhibition and curatorial studies in the US mostly, and SFAI popped up. So I applied to a few, and I had visited San Francisco as well, and I loved that place, as everyone, right? And I also knew Anru, who at this point was supposed to lead the program. Never happened, unfortunately for us, because we got there and he wasn't there. And we did not know as a cohort that he basically separated from the school at this point, which was a really big bummer, because I think I would have loved to work with him on so many projects. But anyways, so yeah, it was this idea of like, I wanted to do a master's that was going to actually be professionalizing, and something that was going to steer me into the direction of museums and institutions more than anything else. And I love the idea of being surrounded by artists, not as an artist myself, right? Having the capacity to work with people that I will work in the future with. And this is 100% what happened. The second I got there, basically, we became this whole like cohort of people that were working together as well as studying together.
Yeah, great. Well, maybe we can go back around and just talk a little bit about how your time at the school affected you, your work coming in, how it changed, what was surprising, what was expected or unexpected about what you encountered at the school in a good or bad way. Yeah, just sort of like how it affected the trajectory of your life and your artwork. Yeah, back to Eleni.
Yeah. Well, it affected me deeply, and I can't imagine my art, without the years at the Art Institute. I was kind of lost, as you understand, when I arrived. I had a lot of Sam Chakelian, so really, I got even more lost, So, but that was needed, at the Art Institute, I kind of felt like really protected. But on the other hand, they could throw you in the ocean, to swim, and good luck. So it was really good. That was good too. From one side, you could feel really, like that you have everything and you can work and you can do anything you want and it's acceptable, but from the other hand, it was really, swim by yourself, So, yeah, it really, structured me. And it was really, those years back then were really, I met a lot of amazing people, great artists. I saw a lot of different work, which I wouldn't have the opportunity to see. I worked at Walter McBean with Richard Pinniger back then, which was an amazing person. And I had the opportunity to help to put up shows, from really wonderful artists and work with them. And see at the auditorium, Keith Haring, Barbara Kruger, here's Walter McBean. This is, we're putting up a show there. And I helped, I don't remember yeah.
Like the library.
So that was a great.
Or do you want to look at these photos now? We can also come back to them.
Yeah. We could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Like go back one.
Here's yeah, and I think I have one more with Richard.
That's the
that I sent.
Okay.
With Walter McBean. Here's Joe.
Oh yeah. And you were saying this was the merger.
Yeah, this, do you remember, Jeff? There was no merger with CCAC.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I'm not sure what year that was, but it was probably
85,
88 or
85,
70.
86, 85, 86. So this is Angela Davis, political science.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
Oh, those
and
are good photos.
Yeah, and I have some more, I will send you guys. And this is the
we'd love to have them.
graduation in 86.
Nice.
The amazing board there. Here's Richard.
Oh, there's Richard.
Wow.
Yeah.
We still see him occasionally.
Oh, really? Say hi, please.
Okay. Wow.
Here is graduation.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Goldstein.
Yeah. The courtyard.
Mm.
This is Chicago. I was photographing when I was leaving. I put this picture because I wanted you to see how the studios, were somehow, yeah.
Okay, so
this one maybe Cléa wants to talk a little bit about. Cléa, you co-curated this show.
That's right. With, at the time, my two roommates, actually. So that was easy. Moni Vasquez and Noemi Zeiler. Moni is from Mexico originally, and Noemi is from France as well. And so we wanted to do something at the Diego that was kind of honoring the huge amount of international artists in our program, and also trying to just shine the light on the diversity of media, of structure, of narratives that really led to a lot of interesting collaboration, including one with Maya Smira and Samira Shemi. Maya is originally from Israel and Samira is from Iran. And so they did this incredible performance that they reenacted actually during our thesis show that was really kind of powerful to see that, the themes of war, the themes of disconnection, the themes are as such for artists are very present, but when you put them within the structure of the art school, what does that mean? Where do they belong? Like, what's the conversation? So this is also an interesting thing, is like we're all coming from different paths of lives, having very different academic backgrounds as well. And that's the performance in question. And this was indeed a way to unify. The school was a unifier, right? We were all being able to do what we were supposed to do freely, without really any constraint at this point. And so having these kind of spaces, and Maria, you were in that show too, that's right. And Santi, you were in that show too. Oh my God, that was a good show. Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah.
I think about it, everyone was in this show.
Do you want to describe the performance a little bit?
So they were doing a durational performance that was the two of them kind of standing into this semi-yoga-like position as kind of a triangle and holding their body onto each other as the kind of leaning towards each other, but like having this balance moment where obviously no one could like stop, like no one could push back. There was just this perfect equilibrium, right? And so the idea was like to do this in an extended period of time to not only feel the connection between the two artists, but also think about what their body represents as political bodies and as bodies within that space as well.
That was such a good show. And it makes me think that here in the archives, we have some documentation of the shows that were in the Diego Rivera, but it's really sketchy. So if any of you all have any kind of installation shots or information or announcements or anything, we'd love to add them to the collection.
Yeah, for sure.
I think at the time I did not understood the idea of documentation well, personally.
Okay, that's all right. That looked great right there. That's as much as I've seen of that show. So that was very cool.
Yeah, yeah. And just quickly, same question to you. How would you say that the school changed your work?
It changed my work. Well, it changed my life for sure. Like this is, I'm still living in the US. I've had the connection that I made there are connections that I will have never dreamed in a million years. I think the school is about the people, 100, like mostly, right? And it changed my practice and my worldview, because coming from France, it's indeed a very kind of academical structure where you're listen to a professor, you take notes, you're just kind of getting in. And at SFAI, I remember the first class was like, where the hell am I? Like, we're talking about Star Trek. And I was like, I'm in the master's program. Like, what is happening? And I realized that the idea of a conversation and the idea of like speaking up and the idea of like exchanging ideas was way more tolerated, at least in America and at SFAI specifically. And that shapes opinions and that shapes the way you see the world. And you are entitled to your own thoughts. And that was something that honestly was quite new. I mean, I did my research back home and, it was mine, but you were not allowed to really kind of be in a conversation with a professor. So that was really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go to Santiago. Same question, or if there's part of that show you also want to talk about, or just more generally about how the school.
Well, I must say that a little bit in the direction that Cléa was going, sorry. When I first moved to SFAI and well, we started classes, I was confronted with this idea of the critique seminar, and precisely that we're sitting there looking at one of our fellow students' work, and anyone could say whatever they had in their mind. And it's something that I actually miss a lot now that I'm here, like having this really horizontal, let's just say whatever we want about the projects, and with no fear of course, there were cases in which people got a little bit sensitive about things, but in most of the cases there was understanding. I think that this really is what makes this community so tight, that people go through difficulties through talking about their own work or with the work of others. And of course, we're artists, so talking about our work is like touching deeply into our idea of identity. And that's why I think then the friendships that came out of this experience are so long-lasting and strong. And also this opens this idea of being able to collaborate a lot more. I've been studying here in Germany, and that's something that I tell all the time, that we're like talking with my fellow other students in this school, and I noticed that I'm one of the oldest, and I'm like, okay, but I came from SFAI, and they have no critical seminars. We don't have discussions. It all becomes this weird patting in the back and saying good work, and I'm like, no, I'm missing a little bit of a real argument. Let's discuss about this. We don't have to be so good to each other all the time. We can be good to each other sometimes, but I don't know if it's a generational thing. Maybe now having this kind of conversations is difficult, more difficult. People are maybe more sensitive, but I do miss that. That's something that really changed the way I think about art. And without conversation, I don't think I could work the way that I do right now.
How about you, Lior?
Yeah, I mean, things that people already said. At the time that I was at SFAI, it was very international. So I don't know if it was particular, but many international students, and they had the opportunity to meet a lot of people from all over the world, and have dialogues about art, and just about our different life experiences, like through art. which was really something that has been pretty amazing because I experienced that for the first time.
Yeah, and clearly you were coming back for more. So was it what you were hoping for? Did you get out of it what you came for?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's basically it kind of like I invented myself as an artist at SFI because I was studying design and my background was technical. And when I started the studies at SFAI, I like not just after the student exchange semester, I was making art for the first time. And so I think about it as like those 2 years, first they were like a therapy session, one long therapy session. Coming from a area of conflict, and at the time there was one of the wars was going on. It was with Lebanon, and being able to process those things and to have dialogue with other people, either coming from my area, from the Middle East, or from other areas in the world where they have different conflicts, which is also, kind of like gave me perspective. But it was just an opportunity to really process it and kind of like deal with the different aspects of my identity in a way that I never did before. And it definitely was an amazing experience that affected, really, changed my life.
Yeah. Oh. And Rosa, you have some photos to share.
Yeah, I thought I would share this project we did in 2022 because it was also a very international project. Stella Lockman, she did this SF MoMA soapbox derby and invited students and professors from SFAI. And we were a really international group. Maria Lena was also part of this. So we were, from Germany, Cuba, Scotland, Colombia, India. Eugenie was there too. And so we kind of created this structure, the International Artists Union, to participate in the derby. And we were really inspired by these British trade union banners. And we kind of wanted to have a soapbox that was floating. So we got this weather balloon and a lot of helium. And then on the day of the derby, there was a tree. And the balloon popped. So in the end, we only walked down kind of with this procession down the track. But we wanted to keep working with these ideas and the structure of this International Artists Union. And so we did this show, which was one of the last shows in the Diego Rivera Gallery before SFA closed. So we kind of had these remnants there, the suits, and we hung the banner up there, and we cut the room in half with this safety debris netting, which was kind of at the height of this white drywall where usually all the works were hanging. We put this architectural model, I think that was always in the library from the 1968 Pefford Keating Clay edition. We put it there in the middle. Becky put this in.
I threw this in. I don't think I've ever heard you talk really about your thoughts behind that scrim. But it always
it was just because it was kind of this funny that always works were only hung on this like additional drywall. Just this height was so peculiar.
Right, it's just really only half of the space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and we had kind of sorry, no, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, I threw those photos in because that work reminded me so much of this moment in the 50s. If you go back, this is the Diego Rivera Gallery in the 50s.
Oh, right, yeah.
They actually decided they didn't want the mural dominating the space like that. And they put that false wall up over it. And then they put a scrim bisecting the room over the like a drop ceiling. And if you look at the next page or the next slide, you can see that image on the right. They're taking the scrim down so that it's like lying on the floor there. So you can see this moment when they thought that that wasn't an important part of the space, and it, you know, the mural, it was always such an important part of the space, but it's just an interesting moment to, and I think your piece was one that kind of plays with that. So I wanted to throw these in there.
Yeah, so it was also the same. Yeah, it was kind of the same height also. Yeah. And then we had all these works all over campus, which Jacob had these paintings up in the tower looking out to Mount Tam. And Eleanor, I don't know if Eleanor is here, Eleanor Schultz. She did this chalk drawing with all these water lines on the courtyard. And I did this text piece in the cafe, which Jeff told me is still there. He was walking by there yesterday. And Lex did this tile piece. So yeah, it was kind of nice to one of these last shows to kind of activate the whole building, and it kind of came out of this invitation for the soapbox derby. Yeah.
And do you want to quickly also sort of answer the same question at how your time at the school changed your trajectory?
Yeah, I mean, I think same like Cléa, I'm still here. I mean, I'm in Los Angeles, but yeah, I'm still in the US. And I think because I did what I did before in Lisbon, it was more like a study, like it was kind of like the Whitney program, but the European version. So I was really looking how I can kind of like combine all this critical thinking like with my work. And I really feel like all the teachers I had, like Maria Elena or Cristobal or Dewey, Crumpler and Lindsay, I really feel like I was really able to do that at SFAI, kind of to bring all of that together. And yeah.
All right, well, let's do one more round and just talk about sort of the flip side after SFAI, which is a big moment for any student, but for an international student, you have to think, am I going to try to stay in this country, which it has so many hurdles there? What am I going to leave? What am I going to do next? So how did you all navigate that? Your next step after you left the school? What did you end up doing? And maybe back to Eleni.
Well, that was a decision actually to go back or to stay. But I decided, actually, because I was with my late husband, he was an SFAI alumni too from the photography department. That's why I have all these slides. But it was a decision to come back and come back to Greece because, you know, I just didn't want it to have a family far away from my family. That was one thing. We were thinking of going back maybe, but that never happened. I've been teaching, you know, for all the years since then. And the SFAI affected totally the way I've been teaching and the way I carried through my art, you know, up to now. Totally, you know, it's a very important thing. I got an MFA afterwards. That school never got into me, or whatever. And that was a really, made an impact in my life. It changed my life, and it changed, my artwork. And it still affects me in the way I approach my art, and in the way, I'm approaching teaching.
Yeah, you clearly stayed connected because you're here right now.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about Cléa?
So graduating, I got into an OPT, which is the extension of the student F1 visa, which is kind of what I've always wanted to stay in the US. I've always wanted to work in the US. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me that I was going to stay. The only matter was like, how can I stay? And I think we passed along my lawyer at this point to a whole cohort of SFAI international. Unfortunately, she's not practicing international law anymore, so you cannot come for me. And so after my OPT, I applied for this visa that I think many of us share, which is the O1 visa, Alien of Extraordinary Abilities, which is a really hard visa to get, but it's also the best visa and the only visa really if you work in the artist or as an artist or in the artistic field. So I had one as a curator, opened a gallery for that more or less. And then I just had to do it and over and over and over again until I got my green card. And it's been only 2.5 years. So it's been very difficult, I will say. And
like every three years or something like that?
3 years, I had to renew the visa. Every 3 years, I had to repay lawyer. And the process has been, I have PTSD from it. So it's awful. So let's not get into politics, but it's very, very, very upsetting these days to see what's happening. And yeah, I just got my green card after all these years. I should have got married, guys. Really should have.
I mean, congratulations on getting it. Yeah. Santiago?
Yeah. So yeah, right after graduation, I must say that it was tough in the sense that I'm a dual national, so I got huge crippling debt that I haven't paid yet, and I don't want to pay, and I won't pay. But then right after, it was good that I was able to maintain this connection with the community of artists that I graduated with, the ones that graduated a little bit before, like Cléa, or the ones that graduated a little bit after, like the next generation. And after a year of trying to figure out things with many jobs to pay debts or whatever, we were able to make our own atelier, like with 6 other artists. That changed over the time, and I kept that a studio for 6 years in Excelsior district. It was one of I don't know if those studios still exist, but I felt very privileged to have such a big space where we could keep on doing what we do. I must say that it was also a little bit difficult to get into more, let's say, institutions or galleries that had that were more conductive in my career. It all stayed very much in this kind of like outsider art scene, which was interesting. But we still did it, and it worked somehow. But then those last 4 years between 2016 and 2018, the first Trump administration, I think, is something that really slowly made me feel not welcome and made it very difficult. And I guess that's the reason why I moved to Europe, because I wanted to be a little bit far from the situation. It doesn't mean that by coming to Europe, I am far from similar situations. Here right now in Berlin, The German government is cutting down all the budgets to the arts. Everyone is panicking. We don't know what to do. Galleries are closing, museums are firing everyone. So I guess that you cannot not escape from the fact that culture is under threat right now everywhere in the world, and that right-wing politicians want to get rid of us somehow. So I guess that the fight that is being fought in the US, we have to fight it here. I have friends in Latin America doing the same, friends in Asia doing the same, and at least I have those good connections to SF especially. And looking back, I look at the time that we spent in San Francisco, especially in SFAI, with the biggest nostalgia, I must say.
How about Rosa? You had the most a real roller coaster of an post-SFAI moment.
Yeah. So I transferred to CalArts, and I graduated in 23 from there. So, and then I also did OPT. I'm on the artist visa now also, which is ending in 1.5 years. So I also have to, and similarly to you, Cléa, I also have this one lawyer that I think now I have, I think 10 people got an artist visa through her, which is good. I'm really happy about that. And yeah, I don't know. What was the question, Vicky? Just after.
Just how you thought about what you wanted to do afterwards, if staying, leaving, how you're thinking about that now.
Yeah. I mean, of course, the situation now is also different than in 23 or 22 even. Yeah. So I don't know. It's definitely want to stay, but I think it really depends. Yeah, it's kind of a yeah.
And Lior?
It also changed my life in the sense that I'm still in the US, in San Francisco, and I have my family here. And after I graduated, actually, so I got this student work visa. I think that Cléa mentioned, and actually, someone from SFAI connected me with someone who was looking for a person that knows both coding and design. So I got a job, and then I was very fortunate that they continued to sponsor me through the different work visas. So I just was an alien status for I don't remember how 5 or 6 years until I eventually got a permanent resident status thanks to the job that I was able to hold and to and they sponsored me. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think Maria, do you get any questions? I haven't been monitoring the chat, but if there's anything people want to ask, or there might be other folks who came to SFAI from other countries that wanted to share something of their experience.
Yeah, I was a little late putting it in the chat, but if you have any questions, please go ahead, put it in the chat, and I can read it off. I just wanted also to give a shout out to Chill Tofla, who gave us the images for the exhibitions that Cléa curated. She wasn't able to come here today. She's at CCA, and you can only imagine what she's going through with everything that's happening there. But I thought it was so really important for me also to hear that she was running the global outreach, I think it was called, office, and she was like always saying like, I don't agree with calling international students. I want them to be like SFAI alumni first. Like I don't want to have that. It's like them to feel like a second class or anything like that. And I feel like I just wanted to kind of share that from her, because I felt like that was really something that she always made me feel so included at SFAI. And I'm gonna start sobbing because of PTSD, what Cléa talked about. It was so real and chill. Like without chill, I would have not made it through SFAI, because it was like every time, like I would go back home to Austria for like the summer, and I would have panic if I could get back into the country. Austria would tell me, they're not gonna let you into the country. You can try it, but they're not gonna let you into the country. You know, it was like all this. And this was still at a time that we cannot at all compare what's going on now, you know. So we all know what happened, you know, to the admission numbers at SFAI and also to CCA. So it's kind of like, that's part of it, that people just don't feel welcome anymore. And it was already so hard when we were doing it, you know. So I think and there was like this one slide that I'm just going to share, because all these slides Jill dug out, and I'm just going to share this one slide as well. That was in the Borderline show, and I think Cléa, that was probably you, from this quote from Jeanette Winterson. When you are born, what you are born into, the place, the history of the place, how that history mates with your own, stamps who you are, whatever the bandits of globalization have to say. And I was like, yeah, I just like getting those slides from her and just having all that support from her throughout the years I was at SFAI really changed me. I get too emotional, so shout out to Jill. There are no questions. I could read the question. Annie Holub is here. That's awesome. She was so long in the admissions office. I'm sure she has a couple of stories to tell as well. But we have a couple more minutes. Yeah, is there any other last final comments from all of you awesome speakers? Thanks so much for doing this today.
Eleni, I think you're muted. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm just saying, you know, we need another art school at San Francisco. You know? A very unique space, and amazing people, wonderful, all over. And the people, and as Lior said, with the international students, yeah, a lot of Icelandic, some Greeks, and a lot of Japanese people, from all over. It was amazing. It was really wonderful.
Yes.
The opportunity to see other cultures, to share cultures, you know, to take the culture from there. And we learned, we gave and we took. That was really amazing. You know, like each one of us was giving something to the school, and we were taking even more. Amazing. And they were teaching, as we said, you know, freely. It was really academic here too for me, and I'm like, where am I? Hello, who's teaching? You know, like that was wonderful.
Yeah, as a staff member, you know, it was always so wonderful to walk in every day and cross paths with students and faculty, and it was just so rich with all those international students that truly, you know, were such an important part of that place. And I learned so much from the students anyway, but the students from other countries just educated me about, you know, the bigger world. So thank you all.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for doing this.
The whole generation after generation of you. So thanks.
Thank you.
And Linda, Connor, and I, we were trying to include a couple of, alumni from Asia, but we realized with the time difference, it's just impossible. And so Linda is working on this volume 2 of international students that's going to include a bunch of students from Asia, and then also more from South America, and like all over Icelandic. We have to get the Icelandic students involved as well. And yeah, it was just a last little story. Annie Reiniger and I, we were in Stockholm for the supermarket art fair a couple of years ago, and he curated a booth with all alumni, and the Swedish alumni helped us out. Nina Wedberg Thulin, and so it's kind of like this really nice feeling when you come to a city you don't know anything about, and you have like a bunch of alumni that come and help you, and like Nina was driving us all over the city, and it's just like that was a really nice experience. So we hope we can do that again. Eleni is now working on this wonderful project where a couple of alumni are gonna hopefully go to northern Greece to teach a workshop in a school, in a really teeny tiny school in the mountains in Greece.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like trying to have a little bit of a global outreach from the alumni organization and working on that. And if you ever, want to host an alumni exhibition or like a booth or anything in where you are, just let us know. This is really so much fun to organize that, and we hope we can continue doing that. So, all right, we got a couple of really nice comments in the chat. A lot of thank you for sharing all your stories. And in 1970s, there were many students from Iran and Nigeria, and he wrote that. We also had Cléa and I and Santiago. We had multiple students from Iran, right? That's really important. Minouche is still in the area. So, oh yeah, okay. I'm gonna hand it to Becky and Jeff for the final really, really important announcement. Go ahead.
Well, just if anyone is in San Francisco, we're putting together like a party fundraiser at Minnesota Street on February 15th, kind of a Valentine's weekend thing. That's a Sunday in the afternoon from 12 to 4. I just stuck the ticket link in the chat if anyone is around and wants to come by. Hopefully it's going to be really fun. We have a lot of things going. We've got Lindsay White's Big Sandwich, the biggest one yet, is going to happen. Cal Spelitic is going to make music with plants. Mike Henderson is going to play. Penelope Houston is going to play. A tarot reader. And a silent auction with contributions from a lot of alumni. So hopefully it'll be a really fun afternoon. So come by. It's like pay whatever or none, whatever works for you. We're happy for the support. And it's all, keep the work of the archive going is our goal. So yeah, come by. I'll put you're getting the ticket link first. I haven't put it on our website yet, but I'll get it up there if you lose track of this link.
Cool.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Becky and Jeff, for organizing all of that.
Thank you.
Well,
Jeff, did you want to say something?
I was just going to say, contact us, everybody in the audience and everybody on the panel. If you ever need anything from the archives, don't hesitate to get a hold of us.
Yeah, that's true.
We miss you.
And give us stuff. Give us like physically or virtually your photos or flyers from shows, whatever. We love that stuff. Keep it coming.
All right. Thanks, everyone.